ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed delighted to be here, and it is truly a dream come true. When I met Dr. Prasad a few years ago, and when he told me about his invention, I was truly quite amazed. Having come from myself a background of medical research, drug research, I worked at Dr. Remedies, and we worked in the area of allopathy. So when he talked about this drug, I saw that there is something very unique about this molecule that he has been able to get from in nature. If you look into the modern drug discovery over the last 70, 80 years, where many big companies worldwide have made billions of dollars, you have seen one very common feature of all those drugs is that they do cure you, but at the same time they leave what is known as side effect. There is no drug today developed by any multinational worldwide that would not leave a side effect. Now, if you go back to ancient days of Ayurvedic, you see that Ayurvedic medicine survived for centuries. And one must ask the question, why? If you look into the genesis of Ayurvedic medicines, you will find that most of those medicines come from nature. The advantage of drugs deriving from nature is the following. The molecule, the component, the constituent that present in a plant, seed, or a bark has survived for centuries the onslaught of nature. Those chemical substances which have gone through rough and tumble of whether it is heat or cold or whatever you have, you see that those have survived for centuries. And these molecules, when they are isolated, they have their own, as we call it, physiology. And this is well known from ancient medicines of Ayurveda. Now, I am a firm believer of it, even though I have spent all my life discovering drugs in allopathic area, but I know very much that how flawed the discovery of a drug in the multinational and all that happens. Not that I'm not taking away the credit for the drugs that were discovered over the last 100 years, but there are also drugs, they sell it in the market. By the time they come to know of the side effects, they've already made the money. So, I think this is a kind of discussion that goes on in pharma industry worldwide about the safety and other things. I think the focus always is going to be the money that they make out of all that, and by the time it causes some kind of side effect, even if the drug is banned, they basically would have made the money. And of course, many big companies today worldwide have billions of dollars to fight legal battles. As you know, US is a country where, even if you have small problems with the medicine, you can go and sue and companies can get away by giving you a few $100s, a few $1,000s. Now, coming back to the theme here, as a scientist, I have been involved and I can tell you the following things. A drug is never going to cure a disease completely. This is all a myth. And I stand by my statement, and I can always argue with any medical doctor or practitioner. A drug only gives you a solace or a comfort for a very short period of time, and you get out of it. A lot of it also is your psychology, your brain, which basically receives a signal saying, oh, you've become very good. Half of your medicine or other ailment is because of the way you think. The mind, everything is controlled by that. Whether you feel good or bad actually is a lot to do with how you think. Now, medicines that are going to cure you in a holistic manner are truly the medicines which are derived from from the traditional system of medicine. And if you look into the history of Ayurveda, there are drugs, there are combinations of drugs. You would say that they have cured a thing completely forever. And I myself, is a beneficiary of that. I don't want to go into details of that. Now, coming back to Winner has a unique ability of correcting your whole body system. There is one thing which is called central clock in your body, which is what is the root cause of every disease you can think of, is the inflammatory system. You have a central system from where inflammation starts. That inflammation actually gives rise to diabetes, cardiovascular, cancer, what have you, CNS, all kind of diseases are related to that. The modern medicines have not been able to actually come unambiguously discovering a molecule, a drug which would actually correct your inflammation path. Now, Winner has really come out and tried to address this problem in a holistic manner. And this is what has been the basis of many of the ancient system of medicines, that they would always treat you in a holistic manner. And here, if you look into Winner, the Winner has actually got that propensity to correct your so-called altered inflammatory system. So what happens really? What is COVID? COVID is nothing but, COVID basically attacks you when your immune system is very low or very weak. Immunity of the body is the most important thing. And immunity is nothing but you're keeping yourself very healthy. Good lifestyle, good eating, and good practices of, everything that makes you healthy. The moment you have weakness in your immune system, even a small bug, even a small bacteria can literally kill you if you're not very careful. What happened to this COVID is that COVID was an unknown thing. I go and teach in Germany in a university called Regensburg. So when I was talking to the professor there from here, I said how things are going in Germany. He told me in Germany or Europe in winter, about 30 to 40,000 people die every year because of influenza. He says this is nothing new. Even this one kills only so many people, but it is unknown. An unknown bug, an unknown virus obviously is going to be cause of great discomfort and great worry. And this is where I think the research in the last 1.5 years has proven that this is a kind of virus which mutates very fast because of the fact it has the ability to mutate. You have not been able to get a disease, a drug or a vaccine which would try to stop its mutation. So look at one side. One side you have vaccine and a drug, remdesivir and what have you. The other side you have a drug called Winner. If you compare the two, Winner takes away all that component of weak immunity, which is the basis and the root of all the things that you go through in kind of, in this whole process of infection. Now, there is a caution that you must have heard. People who succumb to this COVID are the ones who already have the so-called comorbidities. Now, comorbidities are diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular, many liver diseases and what have you. Now, obviously, what happens when your immunity is weak and if a foreign virus attacks you, it triggers a lot of unwanted reactions into these organs like heart, brain, liver, and then you get into kind of a situation where you are beyond redemption. And therefore, you always go and take an individual medicine for those. If it is, liver, you go and take that. If it is heart, if you are diabetic. Now, what this does, what Winner does is that it kind of rebalances those problems, and therefore you see, doctor will tell you, the doctors who did the clinical trial, how a COVID positive patient within a week became negative by administering this. What does it mean? It clearly means that it has the propensity to alter or refocus, redesign, or whatever you have your immunity system which has gone off balance. And therefore, medicines like this are going to be, in the long run, very effective. And once people start taking this kind of medicines, you would find that you don't have to really take a vaccine. Vaccine is a big thing, no doubt about it. The vaccine also has a very strong commercial component. Vaccine is not going to be the end of all, and I can say that because of the fact I have heard in the recent times, people who got 2 doses of vaccine still were impacted or infected by COVID. So I think it is not that if you take 2 jabs of vaccines and then you go and play around and go and do whatever you want without mask, without social distancing. These are limited things. Therefore, I would say that not that Winner will enable you to go around and play around with friends and do all kind of things without keeping the social distancing or mask, but it does, of course, removes the problem from the root. And I think it is indeed a great thing, and I can go on talking about it, but I think time does not permit me. But I can only say in the end that it is indeed something which is going to make Hyderabad proud, India proud, if we can take it forward. And I advise all of you, request all of you to spread the word around among your friends and family, and do try this particular drug, and I can assure you that you will not be disappointed. And I think this is clearly a very, very important discovery by Dr. Prasad. With these words, I congratulate the team, the doctors, Dr. Prasad and his team, Rubina and everyone who have really relentlessly worked, and I have been seeing them for the last few years. And indeed, thank you for your kind attention. Good luck.
Winner. ఆహారపు వస్తువుల యొక్క శక్తి వైరల్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్స్ని, బ్యాక్టీరియల్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్స్ నుంచి మనల్ని కాపాడటానికి మనం నిత్యం భోంచేసే ఆహారాల్ని మేళవించి శక్తిదాయకం చేసి ఆ శక్తి మిశ్రమాన్ని మీకు అందిస్తున్నాం. విన్నర్ తద్వారా మీ శరీరాన్ని వైరల్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ నుంచి, బ్యాక్టీరియల్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ నుంచి కాపాడుతుంది.
Hello everybody, this is Lipsika. Please subscribe to KAKATIYA TV. Please subscribe to KAKATIYA TV. Please subscribe. Push subscribe. Please subscribe. Hi, nenu RJ Kajal. Subscribe to KAKATIYA TV. Chala interesting updates and interesting content untundi KAKATIYA TV lo. So definitely ga subscribe cheskondi and kinda kanipustunna bell icon ni kuda meeru nokkite meeku instant ga upload chesina ventane notification kuda vastundi kabatti do subscribe.